Ariel, this is Santiago de la Rosa, el gringo monje, campeón de los abandonados. Y a mi video vivo de la biblioteca de Barranco, Lima, Peru. Simplemente, howdy y'all. I'm James McDaniel. Y'all can call me Santiago de la Rosa, the gringo monk, champion of the outcasts. This is a public message to Pastor Barry Robinson of the Acton Methodist Church. Or, you Methodist? I don't know. The Acton Christian Church. I truly believe you ought to be disciples of Jesus Christ more than Christians, but that's a whole nother story, ain't it? It's a public message to my mother, Vicky Smith McDaniel. My father was Richard Neal McDaniel. Cousins, aunts, uncles. Good family. They have a good family, you know what I mean? Some Mick Laurie's down in Austin. My sister, Laurie Lee McDaniel. So, how do y'all thought I was dead? Because I almost was. I can't die. God ain't gonna let me die until my work's done, right? I'll say you very clearly. Nobody has damaged me more than people who call themselves Christians, people who call themselves good Americans, the U.S. State Department, the Peruvian National Police. Now, I got myself beat the fuck up trying to fight powers that were bigger than me. Let me see if I can tell this story very quickly without endangering my life again. I lived in a town for the past year north of Lima. I moved there to escape the woman who called me her love. We shared rings in a ceremony, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna defame nobody, you know what I mean? So, turns out it wasn't her husband. It was her bank account with shoes. So, I had some business partners in Quito, got a boat, good outboard motor. Friends used my boat. We had business together, tourism and all that. They cheated me. When they couldn't get nothing else out of me, they paid a brujo to kill me. I don't believe in witchcraft. I drank ayahuasca over 100 times. I don't believe in tourism. I don't believe in monetizing things that are sacred. And let me tell you, ayahuasca is the biggest fucking scam in this country. Right? So, but the fuck's a brujo gonna do against the disciple of Jesus Christ? Son of God. Hola amigo. Graba video por mi compañeros. No te preocupes ya. ¿Ah? ¡Ah, ya!
¿Qué pasó,
Gracias.
¿Qué lo que? ¿Una ayudita, un centavito?
No hay nada. I mean, even in this state, I still got bums coming to ask me for fucking coins. You know what I mean? Like, I'm carrying 30-pound boxes of fish on my back until I fall in the and I still got these crackheads asking me for fucking money. And that's the thing, man. This whole country treat me like I'm a bank account with shoes. And they hate us. They hate gringos. Gringo means nigger. It means white person who I have the right to take advantage of because their ancestors fucked over my country. That's what gringo means. But I'm the gringo monk, a student of the Shaolin Holy Way, and I am showing these people the good side of what it means to be a Texan. So, simply put, so-called friends try to kill me. Can't do shit. They may be sick. I figured out what's going on. I just did my prayers and did my things and, sent all their evil right back to them. Oh, and the things that happened to them afterwards. Like, be careful what you put out, especially toward a child of God. I didn't ask God to hurt these people, but they got what they earned, you know what I mean? So, I escaped Iquitos. I ain't gonna tell you what happened in between. Let me. My best friends are all the trash man. I say thank you for your holy work, and I give them candy. That's a trash man right there. So anyway, what am I telling you? All right, left Iquitos, learned a quick lesson that I'd already learned once before. If someone calls you their family and just keeps saying family, 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 I want to help you, it's because they're trying to fucking hustle you. Absolutely. But I already learned that lesson when I was 20 through 27. So like I landed in Cajamarca, realized that who someone pretended to be on Facebook is literally the opposite of who they is. And it took off. God just like, this woman pretended to want to help me, and then she stole Valentina's food and her jacket. This allegedly disabled veteran who loves animals and loves me like a son. Right? She borrowed some money from me and then fucking stole it when she couldn't hustle me no more. A whole nother story, ain't it? So God took me to, gotta be careful here, a small beach town somewhere in between Mancora and somewhere in between Chiclayo and Lima. Yeah? And I've lived there for the past year. Now, I was severely damaged and slandered by the U.S. State Department and the Peruvian National Police in 2017. That's a whole nother story. That is not for here. But because of what they did, because of the corruption under Krishna Urs, the U.S. ambassador to Peru, the coward who abandoned all of us for the pandemic, that motherfucker made me lose the Social Security disability insurance pension that I earned and collected for 15 years. I lost my pension because that cunt didn't translate my paperwork. And funny story, in case any of the State Department's listening, your opportunity to be one of the good guys has passed. Y'all have intentionally and negligently inflicted emotional distress upon me for the last time. Right? You have left me to die several times. And you play a game called Not Our Problem. You play a game called we're not going to do our job. We're just going to make it impossible for you to hold us accountable for not doing our job. See, I had to invent my own language called Gringlish, which is like a Spanglish. It's a mix of Spanish and English. So your first lesson is use my friend, and also my former girlfriend, Venezuelan soldier's name, Isabella. That's Gringlish. Isabella. What does that mean? Isa means es una, as in la embajada de Estados Unidos. Isa, tonto corrupto payaso pendejo. What does that mean? It means the ambassador of the United States is a stupid, corrupt asshole of a clown. I teach that lesson in the street here because I'm going to make back the money that y'all made me lose. Yeah? So, where are we at today? Or rather, how did I get here? I lived in that little town. I rented a piece of land. I still had about $50,000 worth of tools. What I've studied my whole life is sustainable gardening. Plus, I understand Tesla-based technologies that can help this entire fucking country. And that's what God sent me here to do. They have problems with water. And I can pull water out of the atmosphere. I can condense it with something called an atmospheric water generator. I can build machines with magnets and soup cans that generate free electricity. I can do a lot of shit. If people would stop treating me based on the way that I look and stop assuming, because it makes an ass out of you and me, that I'm some stupid American crackhead. I'm missing my teeth. I got cheated, well, first because, a Colombian woman broke my heart, so I went and found a gang of shitheads and broke their face. But then 3 of them broke my face, and I lost my cell phone and my tooth in the same event. Ran away being chased by assholes with broken beer bottles. But I don't have my teeth because the dentist in Iquitos took my money, didn't do the job. Yeah? Everybody cheats me. But I am Job. You can take everything from me. But my faith in God, the smile on my face, and my ability to work, disabled or not. I'm legally disabled with post-traumatic stress disorder and schizoaffective disorder, which means that I hear the voice of God. And I don't give a shit if anyone else can hear it. St. Peter, San Francisco de Assisi, Santa Rosa de Lima, they talk to me directly. I don't worship statues. The statues are an antenna for a very real entity. And I'm disabled, according to the Social Security Administration, with this disability. But because of something that happened, because of the corruption in the U.S. State Department, I ain't got no pension no more. I ain't got nothing. My mother made some promises, because I ain't never asked them for nothing. But then my mother ain't here no more. My mother's body is infested by a demon. When her son calls with knife wounds, head injuries after being attacked by a gang who stole my $50,000 worth of tools and then tried 3 times to kill me and then denied me a police report because of reasons that I am not going to say publicly. Let's just say that God touched the heart of my neighbor. I was informed that the sicarios, the assassins, have my picture. And I escaped with my clothes and my life. Because I'm a proud Texan and a son of God. And I got a motherfucking mouth on me. You try to kill me, I'm going to internal affairs. Yeah. If you go to internal affairs in this country, you ain't never going to see your court date. That's a fact. Everybody here knows it. So, where are we today? I will say this very publicly in case any of the police are watching. I will never file a denuncia against you. I am legally insane. Everything I'm saying is an absolute fucking fiction, just like Harry Potter. It's a story my brain made up to explain the abuses done to me by my country. I love Peru, and the police here are nothing but kind, honest, honorable, and respectful. I'm sorry, I can't say it with a straight face, y'all. So, God has brought me to a new chapter of my life. My friend, Carla, she brought me this shirt. She found me being abused by the local police. Which, by the way, Peru gives every one of their residents, not just citizens, if you can prove that you live here, you get free health insurance, right? But the problem is if you're white, you're only ever going to be abused at the fucking hospitals and the puestos, the clinics. I've been to about 7 of them. They all treated me the same. But this nice little Catholic girl, she found me being abused at the clinic last week. She literally just took me by the hand. She said, "Shut your mouth, gringo. Let me talk. Come with me." She just took me by the hand, took me to the clinic, and made them treat me like a human being. So I'm on my way up, man. I get my parasites treated. My parasites are coming out my ears, my chin, my nose, my eyes, my head. You ain't gonna point where else they're coming out, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, I have a very interesting opportunity that God has presented me. And anybody watching this can put this in front of the right people. Please do. When I was 5 years old, I was at Easter with my cousins. And I realized then and there that I ain't like them. I didn't want to play with them, so I pretended to be sick so I could listen to Appetite for Destruction on my cousin's Walkman and laying in his bed, pretending to be sick. Then, later, when I was 12 to 14, my parents had me chemically lobotomized and beaten into submission in mental hospitals, and I reinvented my identity as a recovering drug addict guitarist, just like Slash. I busted my ass. Which one came first? Yeah, 14. When I was 14, I busted my ass mowing lawns in the summer, saving up money. Daryl, the guitar guy at the music center, he knew how bad my family home was. Like, why is this kid always here hanging out? But like, I help everybody wherever I go. So he'd always just let me play the guitars, and like I'd always straighten stuff, keep stuff clean. So I mowed lawns, and my good actual Christian neighbor, who I can't remember, he paid me not to mow his lawn because he already had a yard service. But he wanted to help me, and he was a true disciple of Jesus Christ. His father wrote the cross and the switchblade. I can't remember his name. But if you're watching this, thank you, sir. You are truly a disciple of Jesus. You helped my life. So when I was 14, I saved my money all summer. And then I was looking at the Slash Epiphone, Les Paul. I wanted that so bad. It was so pretty. It was purple, had snakes all over it. Yeah, I do have a love of snakes. And then by the time I had the money, they stopped their contract with Gibson. So they were selling everything at cost. And he had a Gibson Les Paul studio. And I asked myself, I said, what would Slash do? Would he buy a Joe Perry model Epiphone? Or would he buy a real Gibson? It was just black, and it wasn't as pretty, but it sure did play good. So I bought that Epiphone. I bought the Gibson. Later when I was 21, I was homeless again in Santa Cruz, and the Gibson don't do you no good when you ain't got a roof over your head. So that one went to Musician's Friend. Whatever that cool music store is in Santa Cruz, man. Oh, the Starving Musician. It went to the Starving Musician in Santa Cruz, which is one of the best guitar shops on this planet, just so you know. Yeah, right. So, where are we at today? Oh, yeah. No, wait more. So, when I was 16, I had been chemically lobotomized. I gained over 100 pounds. They forced me to take antipsychotics that I did not need just to make me controllable. My parents I won't say they've never loved me, but they just want me to shut the fuck up and stop bothering them with the truth, because their entire life is built on lies. Yeah? And the only crime in a world built on lies is telling the fucking truth. So, when I was 16, I was in the local HEB school district television program. Mr. Ben Wilhite was my teacher. And I was part of the local news, like the school district's TV channel newscast. I was also a computer nerd. I won first place in the state of Texas in VICA for computer repair. But back then, before anyone knew what email was, I found Slash's management. And he was coming to play a show in Fort Worth with Snake Pit, because Guns N' Roses broke up by then. This is 2000. This is 1999 or 2000. I can't remember. So I sent an email to his manager. I said, I'm a reporter for the local news, for the local school news. I'd like to do an interview with Slash, please. And I told him a story about busting ass, mowing yards, and he set an appointment. Dude, he got me media passes, everything. I won't say I'm dying, but I'm not dying. Unfortunately, that show was canceled, and they didn't get to come. Years later, my parents threw me out on the street when I was 17. By the time I was 19, I made it. I was living on the rooftop of Borders Books on the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica, California. Hanging outside of a comic shop, telling jokes. I don't think I had a guitar then. Telling jokes. I used to rip the top off palm trees and make palm roses. Slash came in a comic shop. He gave me $20. I ain't gonna tell that whole story, but long story short, Guns N' Roses is playing here November 4th, and God has told me to contact them because they can help me, and we can help the poor people of Chorrillos in Peru, and the U.S. That's too complicated to explain in a video, but I've got plans, and I make a very good gopher. I've worked in the music industry my entire life. Been security. A gopher means like go for what we need, and I have a very special skill set, right? I have lived like a tourist. I have lived like a Peruvian business owner. And for the past 6 months, I lived like a fucking bum. Not because I want to, but because God has been teaching me humility. I know all the supermarkets, I know all the shopping malls. I want to contact Guns N' Roses management. The first offer to be their gopher. Second offer to be their kind of tour guide. Or they have a few days free after the show. I could take them to Chalin de Huántar. I could take them to Machu Picchu. I could take them to Iquitos. I could take them to Ica. We could ride motorcycles all over this country, ride jet skis, like whatever y'all want to do, we can do it. Just tell me what you want and give me a budget. You know what I mean? So, as I say as part of my spiel when I rent bottle tops as checker pieces on the weekend, I do not love money. But unfortunately, the grocery store does not accept songs in payment. I've carried fish boxes until I'm weak and sunburned. My parents think I'm a fucking bum and a drug addict. I don't use drugs. You use drugs. You are addicted to Diet Coke to the point that it has rotted your brain, mother. I say that with complete respect, man. But the fact is that you gave yourself cancer. You gave yourself obesity. My father gave himself cancer. I've tried to tell y'all my whole life that God is in the food that you eat, or God or the devil is in the foods that you eat. If you spend your life eating McDonald's and fast food and buying so much food that it rots, eating so much food till you're obese, that is called gluttony, sir. That's to my father. You want to be a glutton, that's your choice. Don't sit there and pretend that I'm the drug addict. I don't drink alcohol. I don't use drugs. Occasionally, herb is a sacred plant. And if little pieces do find me because it is sacred to Santa Maria, and I smoke a little bit and I pray. I don't even do that every day. Shit, not even every week right now. And that's it, man. I don't use nothing else. Want to know the drugs I'm addicted to? Coffee and sugar. Because those are drugs. You bet your ass I can't fucking get up and work without them. So, while you're busy pointing your finger at me, there's 3 pointed back at you. That's to my parents. Now, y'all blocked me on WhatsApp. My mother said not to bother her with my problems while she was sitting on the beach drinking Diet Cokes in South Carolina while I'm dying of fucking stab wounds. They call me a bum. I ain't no bum. I'm one of the hardest workers that most people know. The problem is my mother knows more about the characters on her television programs, to which she is thoroughly addicted, than she does her own son. And God even verified that because he told me that. He said, don't worry, everything's going to work out. In the very next conversation, my mother had the audacity to say, well, the people on Survivor can survive off rice for a month. Mother, I have been living off bread and cheap soft drink for 6 months since you lied to me and abandoned me for the last time and jerked the rug out from under me. You know, you told me you gave $800 a month to the church and that you'd rather give it to your son so he could survive, and neither of those were true. And then you blocked me saying you called me a liar. Well, yeah, Mom. I called you a liar because he is. You know what I mean? Listen to the message. Stop trying to shoot the messenger. So that's it. I'm trying my best. I escaped my toxic home when I was young, 17 and 18, by going to the Warped Tour, showing up early, holding up a sign, walking around until God brought me the people I could work with, and the Rastafarian brothers, Enoch and Chamba means work here. Ain't that funny? They told me I could work with them. They paid me $100 a day to sell t-shirts and jewelry and all this stuff to punk rock kids. But I had to live like them. I had to be a vegetarian. I had to learn about Rastafarianism, which is just another root of the lineage of King David. I had to read the Bible at night with them. I had to live like they do. And they taught me how to live. My parents had the audacity to just call them some dumb niggers. Yeah. They are children of God, and that is what my father called them. So, but they were more they were more my parents. Them two brothers was more my parents than my father ever was. And now I say my only real father is God. Richard McDaniel just donated the sperm. So, I'm at the library. I moved boxes until I'm sick. Can't stand up. I got an appointment with a psychologist tomorrow. Dentist. And then the doctor. Trying to get my shit in order. As a testament to this story, I went to the social service unit of the doctor, told him a story, and they were rude to me, but finally got her to listen. And I realized she wasn't going to help me. I said, you know what I need more than anything? I need someone to give me a military haircut. Someone to give it. The police have stolen everything from me several times in this country, so I would like a policeman's uniform. No badges, no plaques, no nothing like that. I just need a pair of military boots, military pants, and a button-down police shirt. But she kind of treated me like I was an asshole. She said, well, we'll try to get that to you next month. I said, no, ma'am. I have a very short window to try to make myself look presentable, like a good worker to the team of Guns N' Roses. I need this done by November 2nd, November 1st, preferably sooner. She said, well, we'll try. And then I walked out of there and I walked to the corner shop to buy me one of them cheap soft drinks that's keeping me alive right now. And there were two good-hearted policemen in there. And I try to avoid the police here because, I got a bit of a mouth on me and I ain't trying to make no more enemies. They addressed me. They talked to me like I was a human, and they asked me my story. And on Wednesday, that police officer said he's going to bring me a pair of boots and pants out of his own fucking pocket. So God is great. I don't care if you call him Yehovah or Viracocha. We call him Viracocha here. They have the legend that says a bearded gringo will return with sacred technologies as the son of Viracocha. They believe that Jesus Christ is the son of Viracocha. Names is just names. You can call him Yud He Vav He. You can call him Yehovah, Yahweh, Viracocha.